This is day number 265, the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you'd like to sponsor an upcoming share more of the Arukh HaShulchan OC, please contact me directly. It would be very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Siman Kupei Gimel Siv Beis through Kupei Gimel Siv Zayin. Beis, V'chai. This is where the kosher bracha is supposed to be live. It doesn't mean not blended with water or diluted. They could not drink their wine undiluted. They're very strong. They couldn't drink them without dilution. This is what it means. They should put it fresh from the jug until it goes to, or bottle in our case, to the cup. And when you get the bracha of al oretz hamazon, that's when you should dilute it. Why then? Why then that bracha? In order to indicate the praise of Eretz Yisrael, that its wine is strong. They need to be diluted with water. Maybe you ask the obvious question. Nevertheless, nevertheless, since you are not diluting until Birchas Haaretz, Muchad coming out to the Shevach Haaretz. It's clear that you ever mind the praise of Eretz Yisrael. Our wines do not need to be diluted. You don't dilute it. You bring it back into the base. Because it makes some places always dilute. There's a Kabbalistic reason. I'll shame the Maim Hu Chesed. Water is Chesed. Ubalam Tikayayin. Shu Adam, when it comes to sweeten the din of wine, which is din because it is red. So the mayim is mamtik liyayin, but again, we don't do it because our wine would suffer by diluting, not be improved by diluting. Gimel. The water is supposed to give the beginning of Birchas Haaretz when you say no to the lecha. That's one interpretation. It's diluted and not diluted. In the beginning, you also should dilute before benching. But when you get the Birchas Haaretz, you add a little bit more water. Seems to be the sugya of the shas goes this way. It seems that the main water you put previously, a little bit of water you put when you get to know that. Seems there's a compelling reason to say this. How can you make a bracha on a cup which is not full? But if we say it's just a little bit of water, I don't know, but I know that as a shopper works that well. Before it was also just about full. Keep in mind, you add a few drops of water now. The first opinion is from the Rif, who holds that the main maziga, the real maziga, is done at know that. But there are those who say that the Rif also holds that 2 stages, primary before and a little bit at know that. They should dilute it in the cup and not dilute it in another cup. Then pour into the cup kosher bracha. The wine should come fresh, undiluted, into the kosher bracha, and you should dilute it there with water. He also interpreted chai means take it out of the bottle immediately before the bracha. The Shabur writes that that's a mitzvah namuvchar, but not required. We don't have, I guess they had little jugs for each person back then. We don't have little jugs, but pour from the container, whatever it is, adjacent to the bracha. If you I guess you send your little jug, your jug, to the wine cellar to fill it to fill it up and then send back to you. You should send it to the wine cellar immediately before the bracha. Okay, since I wonder how far away the store was. I guess also maybe even if you're not sending a jug there, I guess if he's sending a jug I don't know. I guess they did it back then. Send the jug immediately before benching. Okay, let me repeat that. If he's adjacent to a seller of wine who has the jug of wine, you should send him a message to send him the jug immediately before the bracha. Okay, I'm not sure if he's sending him the jug or just sending him a message. Some say that chai is going in the cup. It should be a whole cup, not a broken cup. Mishabur says that that's the chatchila, but it's not an impediment with the Yevid. But back to Arukh HaShulchan, the Bekelim, but can we say then when they break, they are as if they are dead. That's why they lose their tumah. That's the way when it's sholim, it's called chai, because when it's broken, it's called dead. So when it's sholim, it's called alive. Even the breakage is at the bottom of the keli, in the base of the vessel, which doesn't hold the wine. It's not proper to use unless you are in a difficult situation. Shas says that you can even use a cup which is broken on its lip, on its rim, as long as there's a revius from there and below. It's if there is, however, a hole in the bottom, and thus it cannot hold revius, so it's not a cup at all, and that is an impediment even shas the next condition is umali. Umali who kipshuto shakosi amali. The cup should be full. The Shabura says on this, even though when the cup is fully full, then normally some wine falls out on the ground, and some people don't fill up all the way for this reason. And nevertheless, it's called mole if it's near the top. And mole is a mitzvah chatchila. It's not an impediment. As long as there's a base of wine. I was once at a chasna in Eretz Yisrael. I was given the kos for Sheva brachos at the end of for benching, and I filled it up to the top, and I was berated soundly for that because it was Shemitah wine from Notzer Beis Din, and Shemitah, you're not allowed to let Shemitah wine go to waste, just like any other Shemitah food product, and therefore if you fill up the kos shel bracha to the rim, some of that wine is going to for sure be spilled, and that's forbidden to do with Pedro Shvius. Of course, it'd be inadvertent, but nevertheless, if you know that that's going to happen, and I believe Rav Kook in the Shabbos Haaretz writes that when you make Havdalah on Shemitah wine, also you should not, unlike normal Havdalah, you should not have your cup runneth over, but you should keep all the wine in the cup. Okay, back to the Arukh HaShulchan. Anybody who breaks a bracha on a full cup, they give him a portion without any boundaries. Be full of the bracha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you will inherit the west and the south. Shnei olamim, I guess on the other sides there are no boundaries. Shnei olamim, you inherit both two worlds. It's called Deus im efshar. With Chai, that concept, it's best to be Yotzi all the opinions, but that doesn't really work for us. So almost impossible. Put in a little water, it's going to be completely ruined. Dalit, Itur. Rav Yehuda adorned his cup with Talmidim. He'll put his students around him at the time they made the bracha. He would adorn it with cups, with cups around the cup of the bracha. The ituf, what's ituf? Papa would wrap himself in his cloak and sit. Rashi put a covering on his head. Because when they wrote the Kol Reishmaim Le'Barach B'Mitznefes Adak Shel Rosho, it's written that Reishmaim should not make a bracha with the thin yarmulke on his head. Rak Yosim Akova Rosho, but put his hat on his head. That was the custom. Some places is custom still today. The Zohar says that you should, specifically because you should not make the bracha with an uncovered head. As long as it's covered, it doesn't require a hat. Some people also have a custom to put on a jacket. Wow. have not seen or heard such a minute. I guess time the Arukh HaShulchan, people now put out a jacket for benching. Okay. People, very often people do today. I personally don't. I also don't wear a hat for benching. Even though Tzitz Eliezer says that Rabbi Saul Najara was once singing his miros without a hat, and Arizal sent a message there was a big kitchuk in Shamayim to sing his miros without a hat on. But obviously they were holding a much higher madrega. We are, and the ikar reason of wearing a hat is because it was considered to be proper covered back at the time, and now it's simply not the case. I was once many years ago at the house of one of my rebbeim, Ephraim Eisenberg Zatzal, and his father-in-law, Mordechai Gifter Zatzal, was there, and I saw he benched without a hat. I think without a jacket, if I recall correctly, but definitely without a hat. So I said, not everybody's makbid to wear a hat. I think there's been several other gedolim I've seen like that, but we'll leave it for now. Hey, you're supposed to take it in your two hands. To show how precious the mitzvah is, that you will accept with all of your power. When you begin making the bracha, not taking your right hand. Shouldn't look like a burden. And the right hand is your primary hand. Should not help lift up your right hand with your left hand. But you are small. It's even to hold your right hand in your left hand. It's not proper. Unless you can't do it any other way. If the person making bracha is a lefty, like yours truly, he puts it in his right hand, which is everybody else's left hand. Now, can't take the cup in gloves. Obviously, if you're not in a very cold, outside in cold weather, or extreme circumstances. I think about that right now because it's time of coronavirus. I usually daven outside. Anyway, the tzundu and gloves should so gnayla kos. This is the degrading for the cup. Kilu eno rotza lechzo biyad atzmo. If you don't want to hear, as if you don't want to hold it in your own hand directly. Chem lovish but they dying. Therefore, you're wearing gloves. So you have to remove them. Shas b'nechos hamazon. Shorei halakos. You have to make them move by benching when you're benching halakos. Yesh mishus kosav shenochos halakos yamdel pisasayad. There's those who say you should put the cup on the palm of the hand and put the fingers like this. There's a kiddush cup, but like that. Right. But it's mostly kufos, and the fingers should surround the cup facing up. So then I'm supposed to not hold it by the fingers, like that. That's the name of Shlokot. Sheesh Mitzichim Dafka supposed, but the Baal Tanya, the name of sefer called Nagi Mitzvah, says you should Dafka hold it on your fingers. Mishnah Bura Pascal is like the Shlah. The Arukh HaShulchan does not give an opinion here, evidently. Rabbein Rama Pasasiv Da Pasak the Dafka Shetiga Asmol because Asa. You can't. Your left hand should not touch the cup. I'm sorry. It's Dafka. The left hand should not touch the cup, but you can put your left hand under your right hand. Again, the opposite if you're lefty like me. Left hand under your right hand to help hold up the hand. Mishnah Bura says that Achronim say you should be machmir on this, unless you can't be machmir because you need it help, need help with other hand. Back to Shulchan Magbir Makarka Tefach. Im Yoshva Gabakarka. I'm sitting on the ground. I have to lift the Tefach up the ground. When Yoshev Shulchan, you're sitting by the table. Magbir Min Shulchan Tefach. You should lift the Tefach off the table. See, like it says, Kosher Sosh Es Saw, a cup of salvation I will lift up. They should near come subim, and should also be seen by other people who are present, and they should look at the cup and focus. You should look at the cup in order not to get distracted. Because the reason that is the reason why you don't take for a cup kosher bracha a vessel which has a narrow mouth, shakar gluk glaz. The varach to make the bracha because you can't see the wine. You should see all of the kaman at least takel because there are those who say no, you don't have to look at the wine itself, you have to look at the cup. That's the Taz and Magen Avram. Mishnah Bura says, therefore you should not be makbid if you can't easily get another kli, even though you can't see the wine inside the cup. Back to the Shulchan Yesho Tama Mishum the mitzvah lishtos bebas achas es a kosher bracha or b'kli tzar efshar. As Dr. Moshe says, you're supposed to drink the entire kosher bracha in one gulp, even though that normally would be considered to be gluttonous. But for the kosher bracha mishum chavivus, you're allowed to do that. And when it's a narrow keli, you cannot do that. But the Sikul Gamazeh, people rejected this reason. You should enter your stomach at once and not your throat. You put it inside your throat, meaning inside your mouth, slowly. But you should not swallow until you have most of the liquid in your mouth. The Zohar seems to say that you have to specifically look at the wine. You send it to your wife to drink of it. If she's not eating with you on the table. All of this, the Mishnah Berurah says, in name of the Gra, is that it's all Hiddur mitzvah, not L'chadchila. It's not Makeh b'diavad. We only have 4 qualities. So, for example, Ayin Sham. The Torah name going right, so you need all 10 qualities. Came in the Matzir, Papa Ravashi, the Basroini, says if Papa Ravashi were later on Baroim, after Ituf, they did wrap themselves in a cloak. The Lok Rabbi Yochanan. Kaimlon came, they went, so obviously they went beyond the 4 minimum, and that's how we hold. And we do, it says the tour, everything besides Itur, surrounding, whatever that means. You're going to opinion that Birkas Hamazon does not require a cup. Nevertheless, when you do mention al kos, you should do all these things. So the Rambam says only 4 things. Or call a marba harez and meshubach. That's not the Arukh HaShulchan. I added that. Zayin hamavarach miyad shekiba biyada kosher bracha. Person makes a bracha when he receives the cup. Also a daber. He may not speak. So as not to get distracted from the cup. The best that the people gather also don't speak anymore. But according to the strict layer of law, they have no prohibition to speak. Only when the person starts making the bracha. Now, of course, it goes without saying the time he's making the bracha, doesn't that they have to incline their ears, and I'm sorry, lishma, to listen. In Lo Shemuf, they didn't hear Osachu, which they talked idle words. They had the obligation. I feel ben bracha lebracha. Even between brachos, Shem Baruch Shosek, when the person who's benching is silent, ein lahem ledaber. They should not speak. I guess we'll talk about more than not sure which brachas we're referring to here. Seems that we're going to talking about not talking between the brachas and benching. But if they spoke between brachas, they don't have to go back and make the bracha over again. Person who's making the bracha himself, he talks between brachas, he doesn't go back and make a bracha over again. If the deeper but interrupt in the middle of a bracha, he has to make the bracha over again. You shouldn't go back even if you spoke deliberately in even the middle of the bracha. Okay. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. If you were silent in the middle, even if you were silent enough time to finish all benching, and you don't have to go back to the beginning. Mishnah writes that between brachas, it's not clear. Between brachas, no matter how long you remain silent, it's not clear. Not clear. You should have to go back. But in the middle of bracha, if you remain silent long enough to finish benching, you should go back to the beginning of the bracha. And this is only if you were compelled to stop at that point. So it's beyond your control. So therefore, it's much more hefsek than if you deliberately took a short break. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. I'm much as I'm seeing the samachet. The dash, the kozel, the female hagam can be ikar din. Shkum shoys can be yotzim birchas anvar. This is according to the halacha that everybody should back then. That as they practiced it, that everybody was silent and was yotzi with the bracha of the person who led benching. Now the we each bench on our own. We just finish the bracha before the person who's benching, who's leading benching, because we know we can't rely on our hearing. We saw this already. They're supposed to all say the bracha silently with the mevarech. The Meshua says at least the first bracha. Usually they should say silently with the mevarech. But it's preferably it's all the brachas. Kol bracha bracha. I feel like most every bracha, even the signatures. Rabbi says Beis Yosef. B'yakim b'sayim kodim mevarech, and you should finish before the bracha. Deshiyana amen akal shoro. Yesh lanim sha'ar hazon es hakol yotzim b'rechas mevarech. So you can b'rechas hazimun. That's an interesting chap. That the first bracha until the son is called, you are actually yotze with the bracha of mevarech, because that's prime bracha of zimun. This would be the ikar locha. But this is not the way we do. We make the first bracha, each one on his own. Because the she'ein knows well, Mr. Brewer says that the toiva yasher, the proper good thing is do that when you know that the people around you are going to be mechavin to listen to you. Oh, he says if you know the people around you are going to be mechavin to listen to you, then you should have tried be motzim with the first bracha, but let them know to begin with that you should have mind to be yotzei. But he says it's only if everybody there understands Lashon HaKodesh. Interesting. Because otherwise, I guess it's better to say the words yourself if you don't understand them. Anyway, like the Arukh HaShulchan says, Lo no hagnuke. You only give the kosher bracha, the bench, to somebody who is a generous, magnanimous person. Also, Sone Batza hates ill-gotten gains, become a chesemono, and does kindness with his money. Shneimar says, Tov ayin hu yivarach. Says he was good of eye, he will be blessed. Out the Kriya Yivarach, Ella Yivarech. It's more on Soita, but don't say Yivarach, he'll be blessed. El Yivarech, he should bless. In Ishkazeh, there's nobody like that. Yivarech HaGosh, and then the person of the greatest stature, whatever that might be, he is the one who leads mentioned.